press has descended here upon 10 Downing Street to witness this unprecedented moment, and I'm joined here by Benedict Papio from France 24, and she was also the former president of Foreign Press Association. So thank you very much for your time. We're all tired, but we're all excited as well. So tell me, how are you processing this moment?
Well, we're witnessing and reporting on history. We've just witnessed the exit of the shortest serving UK Prime Minister, and that has caused huge turmoil in the markets, interventions of the Bank of England, very serious economic situation, very much acknowledged by the new Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, who has just addressed the nation as he came into 10 Downing Street. Interesting to note that he didn't have his wife with him. I think the message is very clear. I'm here, we've got a very tough job to do. I need to get on with it, and you need to trust me. I want you to trust me, but I'm going to earn that trust.
Yes, exactly.
I think the fact that he talked about accountability, professionalism, accountability at all levels,
yes.
The fact that he told us yesterday in his first statement, public statement after being elected Conservative leader, that he wanted a government of all talents. One of the many mistakes that the British media and experts talk about and criticise Liz Truss for is the fact that she did exactly the contrary. She eliminated anybody who hadn't backed her in the leadership race. But interesting and important to also note that Rishi Sunak, former finance minister, or as we call them here, Chancellor of the Exchequer, had a very tough job. Shortly into the job, he had to deal with the pandemic and then the financial support that the Johnson government gave individuals in the United Kingdom and also businesses. Here we are. Here's a man who then, in his address, talks about the mistakes that she made. They weren't of ill will, he said, but nonetheless mistakes. And I think it's going to be reflected in the composition of his government as he tries to unite his party, continues to unite his party, because a majority of Tory MPs yesterday...
And the country.
And the country. But he needs to start with his party.
Indeed.
Because otherwise, as he said, it's unite or die. And the polls are extraordinarily bad for the Conservatives. They don't need to call a general election for another 2 years. But what we're witnessing with the death of the Queen, of course, and that political hiatus is extraordinary.
Yes.
We've got a new king, we've got a new Prime Minister. He knows, and he's told the country yesterday and today, we face a profound economic challenge.
And a new start, maybe a new positive start. So I want to quickly bring in the fact that how much do you see him as someone of Indian origin, or do you not? And what have you heard around?
Well, what I see is either a capable, trustworthy politician, Tory leader and Prime Minister, a competent one, who recognises the size of the challenge. That's what I see. So in my reporting, I've been talking about how, blink and you miss it, that Liz Truss was Prime Minister for quite a while, in office but not in power. This abrupt, extraordinary moment in political British history, and what he's proposing to do. I, of course, acknowledge he's only 42 years old, he's only been an MP for 7 years, his rise is meteoric, and clearly he's indicated, which I think is important, I'm up for the job, I know I need to earn your trust. He used the word compassion, which is a word that has less and less been associated with the Conservative Party and with politics.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you're right also to say he's trying to unite the country. These are serious times. There's a war on the continent of Europe, in Ukraine, and so, as he would say, a Russian threat. He mentioned Putin by name in his statement. And he told his party yesterday, unite or die, because they are so behind in the polls that although no election needs to be called for 2 years, if there were a general election, which of course the Labour Party, the main opposition party, plus the Scottish National Party, plus the Liberal Democrats, are all clamouring for, and he has said he's not going to go to an early general election, unlike Boris Johnson when he was Prime Minister. So the country faces, there will be tough decisions, he's warned us. So let's see who is his finance minister, his defence minister, foreign secretary.
Yes.
Interesting that Liz Truss in her Diwali message I noted yesterday talked about wanting to help develop the Anglo-Indian relationship. Well, here's a man
Here's a
who
man.
will do this.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And we are anyways waiting for a free trade deal, so that's a very interesting mix into that. But lastly, how hopeful do you think? Do you think he's going to be able to sail through and not have a general election and just let 2024 be it?
He's made it clear that that is his
What
goal.
do you think?
Well, no, but clearly that is his goal, and I think he's going to give it his very best shot. He
Yeah.
said, I'm going to work in, day out. I think the composition of his government, he's already stabilised the markets. They've reacted very positively to his appointment. I think PMQs will be really interesting to watch tomorrow
I can't wait.
between the opposition and his own interest. And of course, answering also the previous question, of course I talk about the fact that it's the first British Asian non-white Prime Minister. Of course that is a really important thing. As somebody who has two cultures myself, half French, half British, I understand how one can have that attachment. So he has that huge attachment to the United Kingdom and a huge acknowledgement and attachment to his Indian heritage. Perhaps it's a little bit more complicated for people who only have one culture to understand that. But it's so important. I think we can gain a lot from that. And we have to hope that for the British economy, there is stability. That was something that President Macron mentioned a few days ago. We need the UK firing on all cylinders for the good of cooperation, politics, culture, the lot.
Brilliant. Thank you very, very much, Benedict. That was Benedict Pivot from France 24, analysing the speech very substantially, elaborately, and also acknowledging that yes, this is something different. He is from here, but really also not from here. It is a lot for the country to digest, but there is a lot of hope. He commands, trust or not, we will know, but there is hope that he will sort at least the economic mess out and get the country and the party behind him. Lavina Tandon, from 10 Downing Street, London.